Hi YouTubers, Amanda here. I wanted to share today what's in my dance bag. Now, being a dance teacher primarily, my dance bag might look a little bit different than a dancer's bag that takes class or is constantly in rehearsals. I do those things as well, but primarily I am teaching. So my bag is a mix of supplies. So the bag I have, I got this for Christmas from a friend, but I had requested it, and I absolutely love it because there's lots of space. It's just great. It's by Block. I know that was backwards because of the camera angle, but there's just so many great compartments in it. There's a mesh siding, and I just love it. So to start out, and I open it, I have this yellow bag, which actually came with my Gainer Minden point shoes, which is for another video entirely, but I decided to reuse it. And inside is where I keep all of my notebooks that contain choreography, things I might need to bring to class, prop-wise. Sometimes for some of the places that I work, I keep my attendance within my own notebook and take it home. Different important notes about individual students, things like that. So that is what is inside this first one. And then this is supposed to be inside the yellow thing. There is a couple inside pockets that I keep a bunch of CDs in one pocket, and most of them are CDs that I use consistently for technique. So whether it's ballet bar or warm up for tap, things like that, music that is specifically designed for technique and the beginning portions of class. So that's what I keep over there. And then in the center pocket, I have some different padding. These are Bunhead's Pro Pads, which I wear for different point shoes, different types of point classes versus rehearsals and things like that. And I also have in here some padding that I created myself based on what my individual toes need at any given time, for extra support. So, and I also have some lamb's wool that I keep with this in this box too. And then I have some cornstarch or baby powder. When my feet get really gross and sweaty, happens to all of us, this is really good to kind of dry my feet out, or if the floor is slippery, it can help, or just doesn't feel right. And also, if I am not wearing tights, or tights that go over my foot, and I am doing point work, and I'm wearing my gel pads for my point shoes, especially if my feet are sweaty and I can't push my foot into the shoe very well because there's too much friction because I'm barefoot. This is a good way to get my foot in the shoe. And then I also have somewhere in here, it should have been in this pocket, and I didn't prepare very well, but I also always keep a needle and thread with me because you never know what can happen, especially with your ballet and point shoes. Ribbons and elastics can pop off, and it's good for my students as well because it can happen to them too, and they aren't always as prepared, especially if they're new to point work or something like that. So if I have that on hand, we can fix it right then and there. So inside this main pocket, I keep the shoes that I use on a weekly basis. So they're easy access, and I can just open up my bag and they're here. So I keep my tap shoes, and these tap shoes have been with me for so long, and it's just about time to replace them. I've had on this particular shoe the entire bottom just strip off, and I used like a crazy glue, and it's actually stayed on, but now I have like nails popping out of places, and they've just kind of had it. But it's kind of sad when you find a pair that you like and you've used a long time, as I'm sure all of you know. So those will be retired in the near future. I also keep my jazz sneakers right here for easy access. And I actually used to have really cute hot pink jazz sneakers, and that's what I love about being a teacher, or part of the perks about being a teacher is I can kind of go with my own dress code, whatever I want, really. So I loved the fact that I could order a pair of shoes in a fluorescent color as opposed to just black, and they actually got stolen, so and they were really comfortable. But anyway, I now have these. They're Capezio, and I do like them. They're comfortable. They offer good support. They've lasted me a good while. And one thing that's important to me with jazz sneakers, because I've had ones in the past that don't have this, is they have a toe stand here. So I like that feature that some jazz sneakers don't come with. I also keep my ballet slippers, and as you can see, these need help too. These are also Capezio, and there's holes in the toes. They're covered in grossness. I use them all the time, and they definitely need to be replaced. The insides are peeling up in the toe area, so every time I go to put them on, I have to stick my fingers in and kind of remold the inside lining to where it should be, because it's sticking up and it's not comfortable. I can't balance when they're like that, and yeah, so next trip to the store is new ones. And lastly, in this main pocket, I have taken my Gainer Minden point shoes, and again, this will be a separate video on how I feel about Gainer Mindens, and I stripped them. So I de-shanked them, which was such a hard process because unlike conventional point shoes, they are not made out of the same combination of cardboard and plasters and glues, and the box is not a separate entity of the shank. So when I started stripping it, I was like, oh no, and I realized like the whole thing is a plastic fibrous material, and I actually had to rip apart practically the whole shoe and go over to a neighbor's and have him saw off where the shank met the box, so I could keep the box in here, and then redesign, basically. It was such a project, but they were so expensive that I needed to do something with them. So these are now my demi-point shoes. Basically, sometimes when I take classes at certain places, and I feel comfortable wearing these as opposed to my regular soft slippers, that's what I'll do. Or almost always when I am rehearsing alone, I will wear these. And I also oftentimes teach my pre-point class in these. So they can kind of get a visual of a point shoe. Not that I go up on point, but it's beneficial for them. And also, demi-point shoes, whether you purchase them or turn old point shoes into demi-point shoes, are definitely a good thing, because they can you really have to work to stretch through your feet, and obviously they're heavier, so every time you lift your foot or your leg, you're working harder. So I do like having these for certain things. And then, oh, just kidding, that was not the last thing in here. I also have my foot undies. I, especially this past year, have both taught and been involved in a lot of modern and contemporary classes and dance numbers. So I've found that in certain studio spaces or certain stages, I can go barefoot. My feet are tough, it doesn't bother me, and I like the challenge. But there's certain floors that it's just nearly impossible when you're turning and things like that. So I like the little added help and support of something like this. The only thing that does bother me is I have extremely short toes, really, really short toes. So all the time, like, I'll go through a dance sequence with these on, and when the music stops, I have to bend down and pull these pretty much back on my feet because they're slipping off. So that's the only negative, really, to these, is constantly adjusting them. But they do come in handy. So then there is a pocket within here, and I never know when I'm gonna dance. I never know if someone is gonna call me and says, do you want to meet at the studio and work on such and such dance number, or if someone's gonna call and say, I need a substitute tonight, can you come? Whatever the case may be. So I always keep just a basic white shirt and black leggings in my dance bag. They're ones that I don't use on a regular basis, but are comfortable and can be used in an emergency situation, like I said. So I always keep those in there. So if I'm in jeans and all of a sudden I need to break out and dance, if I have my dance bag, which I should because it's in my car, this is there. So, and I also keep a pair of leg warmers for obvious reasons, so can stray away from injuries, and these ones are really cute. They're striped. So that's the main portion of my bag. And then I have, on one side, there is a mesh pocket, which is great because I keep my point shoes in the mesh. I have right now this pair of block jet streams, and inside them is the Once Upon a Time clear gel pads. Had them for a while. They're pretty gross, but they do the job. So that's my primary shoe right now, I guess. But I'm actually next week thinking I'm gonna go in and try on some Russians. So we'll see. I'm still on a journey for the perfect shoe, just like pretty much everyone out there. And then I also have a pair of Pretty Dead, also block jet streams. They're kind of my emergency backup pair if something happens to the ones that I just pulled out, which it does. So, and then lastly, on the opposite side, there's a little zipper pocket. It looks small, but it's kind of magical because it is far from small. This pocket holds all of my other dance shoes that I don't use on a regular basis, but are certainly important and have their time, and when the occasion calls for it, they're in here. And it takes up less space in my closet at home, so I have my character shoes, and I have done actual character work, but I also run theater camps in the summer, and I usually wear these for that. And when I teach Broadway style jazz, some Fosse, stuff like that, a lot of times I will wear these as well. So, and then I have my very ancient lace-up black jazz shoes, and I really can't remember the last time I wore these. Being a teacher and having so many other shoes, and jazz not really being a huge focus for me as a dancer, but I keep them because they're still in decent shape, and you never know, right? And they're pretty comfortable if I do remember. And then I have some lyrical sandals. I don't think these are very popular anymore. When I was in middle school, high school, this is what everyone kind of wore, these and Pindinis. This was before, like, toe undies and stuff like that. So, I still keep them, again, because you never know. And my Pindinis are actually in another dance bag that I have that is just for teaching, that has like a ball that I use for kids to learn how to hold their arms, you know, the little ones. I have ribbons in there for the kids to play with for different exercises. I have my sticker book. I have fairy wings, stuff like that. That's just my teaching bag. And I almost always, when I teach my ballet classes at one particular studio, I almost always wear my Pindinis, so I keep those in that teaching bag. I also have a very old secondary pair of tan tap shoes. As you can see, has the little holes to put like a ribbon through or whatever. And again, it's always good to have a backup. So it's like if I don't get my butt to the store and buy new tap shoes, and the black ones completely fall apart and I'm teaching tap or whatnot, at least I can whip these out and use them for the time being. So, or lend them to someone, you know. I keep kind of everything, I'll admit, so, but at least I'm trying to be organized about it, so. So anyway, that is my dance bag. Things fluctuate a little bit here and there with what exactly is in it, but that's primarily what I keep in there. Try to keep everything that I need on the spot to keep my feet healthy and strong, and Sometimes I have a TheraBand in there, but that's also in my car in the back seat right now. I have a yoga mat back there. So these are my primary needs right here. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, like, and comment, and watch out for new videos coming your way. Thanks.